everything, then breast cancer only happens to middle-aged white women.
Right.
And it doesn't. And that's and we've been underserved for too long.
I'm glad you mentioned that because Dana is a white woman, okay? Ladies and gents, she's a white woman. Dana, I just started following you on Instagram, and you're freaking gorgeous. I got your DM, and thank you for, bigging up the show and all of the postings. But I'm glad you said that because when I interviewed Jasmine and Marissa, now Jasmine and Marissa, for all those that don't know, you can follow them on Instagram. They go by For the Breast of Us. That's FOR, For the Breast of Us. And these are two black women that created a nonprofit organization for women of color, whether you're Asian, Latino, or black, West Indian, African American, Guyanese, whatever country you're a woman of color, they have information for you. And they have an amazing website, and they created their organization due to the lack of the images that we see for women of color that are really afflicted with this disease, more so than some of our Caucasian women. I'm not to say that we're here to go tit for tat to divide us, but it's refreshing now. You brought it up, Dana, but now we're seeing more images of us when it comes to this disease.
I mean, I think it's so important. I have obviously the honor to get some stories told about both AnaOno and myself throughout the media. And it wasn't too long ago, a few months ago, a writer from Bustle reached out to me and gave me a call and said, I'd really like to talk to you about your marketing. I'm doing a series of story about women of color and cancer diagnoses. And she says to me that she goes, you are the only brand I have found that use women of color in their marketing. And
yeah, and
I wrote her back, and
even your images. Oh my God, girl! Like, I love your images because it is all shapes and sizes of women. It's just not like your Cindy Crawford type women. You got women of all sizes supporting these broads and showing somewhat of their scars. Tell me about your selection of why you chose certain women you chose to be models for the website.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of exactly it. I never chose them, right? I never choose the women. No. I literally, people reach out to me, they tell me their stories, and they end up modeling in bras, right? Like, it takes a lot of courage for somebody to say, I'm going to take my clothes off and I'm going to show the world what I'm living with underneath my shirt. And and it's just been interesting to me because this isn't, it's unfortunate that, we have such a large disparity. I mean, we actually know statistically that women of color are still dying at a more rapid rate than those of their white counterparts. And we know that this issue is complex, right? We know that there's disparities in healthcare. We know that there are differences in education and awareness. We know that there's differences in access to great healthcare, right? We know that there's actually some really tough hurdles for us to jump over. But when it comes to AnaOno, it's so important to me that as I was meeting all of these different people, that none of us had a place. None of us really kind of belonged in the community because, again, we weren't middle-aged white women. And right. I think that has a lot of way to go because, even when I had the conversation about women of color in my marketing, I became consciously aware that it seems like I was the only one doing it, but it wasn't because I was checking a box. You see what I'm saying? It was because right. cancer affects all of us. So naturally, right. I would have a friend of Asian descent, a friend of Hispanic descent, a friend of Middle Eastern descent, a friend of, an African American or a black friend that had breast cancer, right? I'm surrounded by people of all different walks of life. And I'm fortunate, right, that I get to meet and be friends and support and engage with all of these incredible people. And that's like the biggest win for us, is because I actually just met a woman that is Indian and Filipino. And she said to me, she goes, I really, really want to model for you because I never see someone like me that has breast cancer. And growing up and now being with my family and having, like, being the sick one in the family, it's important to know that other women like me can feel strong and can go out and can survive and can fight this disease. And that's just it, you know, like, we need to see ourselves, because when we see ourselves, like, that other, you know, West Indian, Filipino woman that is too afraid to call the doctor because she doesn't have anybody around her that has breast cancer, she might see that one picture and say, wow, she looks just like me and she had breast cancer. Maybe this lump in my breast isn't just a lump in my breast. Maybe I should call the doctor. That could literally save somebody's life. And that's huge. And it's absolutely priceless on any level of humanity.
No, I agree with you. And I really love what you're saying, because it sounds like you just were very, very diligent with finding a way to make life normal for yourself, which just catapulted into the movement that you have with AnaOno. And it seems like you're getting a lot of love, a lot of support. And the Instagram page, I really love your AnaOno Instagram page, because who's ever managing it and who's ever posting for you is doing an amazing job, because I love the post. Like, sometimes I don't know what to say. You know, I just started my page. I have a big following on my Love Jones Ty page, but on my Miss_Ty Jones, that's my newest page. And, you know, I got maybe 1,200 followers. But I noticed that I sometimes don't want to talk out of place when it comes to dealing with. So I do post, but pulling from pages like you, for the rest of us and others, and reposting, it's actually like you guys are speaking what I'm feeling. You know what that mean? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and I have to give a shout out, like, the amazing. I feel like I have the most awesomest army of women who really truly believe in me, believe in AnaOno, and believe in supporting those that are afflicted by breast cancer. Because you know, that love, that passion, that level of support comes out in everything that we do. You know, and I'm leading the charge as a patient myself, and I know how bad I felt, and I know the things that I felt in my heart, and I know that I felt left out and alone. And a lot of that comes from my heart and soul, but everybody on the team shares that and knows that, you know, we're out to help others, and that is, without fail, our number one goal.
Well, you know, well, you're already hitting it on the nose. You're definitely hitting it on the nose, because when it comes to giving back in such an amazing way, you're definitely doing that. I'm even looking on your website as we speak, and I'm definitely going to get this Delilah Dream soft cut bra in black. And I'm using my promo code. But, oh, my God, like, I didn't even know bras like this existed. I thought we were just happy to be subjected to, you know, buying just regular bras, because I was about to just go shopping at the PX, you know, for some regular bras. But now I'm definitely just going to buy bras from you guys, because you have some really nice ones. So tell me about the AnaOno and the movement with the bras and that type of thing. How did this come about, and who are you partnering with to get these bras? What's the deal with that?
Well, the difference was, I think, I've been a fashion designer my whole life. So I studied fashion design at Savannah College of Art and Design. I went to New York City. I worked in high fashion, worked for incredible different companies and labels. And I had a background in this space, and it was really like, you know, fashion is my passion. It's no joke. It's straight up for real.
And yeah. I like it. You need to make a shirt now that says fashion. happen.
I
That is so
it's
cool.
so funny, but
And don't get me wrong, it's not a cliche because you know what? I'm a makeup artist by trade, so prior to all this craziness happening, I was working for MAC as a makeup artist. So totally keep going, sister, because I'm feeling what you're saying. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, I got lucky. I was somebody that found, I found what I was supposed to be and what I was supposed to do for the rest of my life very early on in my career. And I'm so gracious and thankful for that. But I think that, what happened because I was a young person that got diagnosed with breast cancer, I underwent a mastectomy with reconstruction. I knew how to make clothing. I quickly realized and identified how my body was so different after the surgery. And I felt like I just had gotten catapulted into this world that was built for my grandma. And when I went to the mastectomy store to try on my first bras after many failed attempts before that, kind of as my last resort, and I, got ushered into the back fitting room that was painted pink and, got delivered kind of the armful of beige mastectomy bras. I just that was my last cutting, that was the last cut in my skin that I could handle. I just felt like at that moment was the moment that really truly defined the fact that I was now something different, that I was now less than a woman, that I was broken, that I wasn't going to be able to put the pieces back together because, here I was scarred, bruised, nippleless. I was all of these things, and this was my option to feel beautiful, was a beige grandma bra. That was my option.
Trust me.
That's all I had left.
I'm sorry to chuckle, but I totally get it because this, how they say us women, certain women, we have a way where we can emasculate a man. I think with breast cancer, it definitely will remove certain confidence and lessen your confidence in oneself to look at yourself in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? I don't think people understand that. And I love that she said that. I really do. I'm so happy that you're being very transparent to share that with listeners because there's a woman out here today, tonight, wherever part of America you're in, that needed to hear what you just said, that needed to know that there's a company such as yours because not for nothing, me, myself, I felt somewhat okay, what do I do now? My regular bras, they hurt. They're uncomfortable. They cut into the skin in a way where, when your breasts are still swollen and tender from healing, you don't want an uncomfortable bra on. That's the least thing that you want. So tell me about some of the, I noticed the bras. You have mastectomy surgery must-haves, breast reconstruction bras, radiation therapy bras. Who was the genius behind the various types of bras to get?
Well, I think the reality is that every surgery yields a different result. And all of our surgeries are different. Everybody has a different outcome. Not everybody, like you said, you chose a mastectomy over getting radiation therapy, right? I had a similar choice at the time. It wasn't my best choice. That's why I didn't take it. But, a lot of women sit there and say, okay, well, I can save my breast, but I could undergo radiation therapy. And if they have radiation, their skin might be burned. They might be really sensitive. But honestly, the biggest complaint that we address by breast cancer patients is that after the radiation therapy, years after the radiation therapy, maybe 2, maybe 5, maybe 8 years after radiation, their breast has continued to shrink over time. And although the radiation therapy didn't really cause them that much trouble, now they are years out and they can be a cup size different from side to side, maybe even 2 cup sizes different from side to side. So what ends up happening is they're kind of sitting here going, I was wearing regular bras for years, and now all of a sudden my breast is shrinking, and I can't wear my old